we're going to talk today from start to stick, some engagement tips around stronger memory, both around getting to engage new individuals, keeping ourselves engaged, and re-engaging people. This photo, I swapped out kind of our usual stock photo for a new team photo. It's not the full team, but we had a fun visit from Teresa the other day. She is down to part-time outreach coordinator, but this was a lot of fun. So the Smiling Brain Health team there. Like Taylor mentioned, we are really reinvigorating our social media, and we want to celebrate you. I know many of you on this call do a great job already, but if you have anything you want to share, you can email us, tag us, and we'll make sure to highlight you back and amplify your posts. You might be hearing more from Taylor in the future. Um, we have our YouTube channel as well that really is focused right now on kind of the introductory videos and training videos, along with our monthly facilitator calls. The recordings get posted there, but we might look at doing more there in the future. So that will be something to see, a space to watch. Today, we're going to talk about why engagement matters, some common challenges, strategies to engage new participants, some strategies to re-engage participants, and then have some Q&A and sharing best practices. So I made our stronger memory dude have a Happy New Year look. Um, Kickstart the new year with stronger memory. January is kind of a natural reset point for a lot of people. So, talking about engagement this month, because when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about and start the year with, I think we can really capitalize on motivation and encouragement for the year ahead, to try and drive that long-term success. I don't love a New Year's resolution because those usually, people think, oh, I have to start January 1st. But I do think that, even if we're not talking about a resolution, just kind of capitalizing on, hey, we have the whole year ahead of us. We're 1 month in. That can be kind of a natural reset point for many people to kind of focus on what's your goal or your wish for the year ahead. And if that includes brain health, then we can support them with stronger memory. Why engagement matters. This is kind of all speaking to those who know it best. But what we've found with our research in stronger memory is that consistency really drives cognitive benefits. So when people are able to do these small, repeated actions over time, they're able to do the reading aloud, writing by hand, simple math, but even they're able to go to their weekly group and connect with others, that social engagement. Sustaining that over time is what shows the best brain health benefit. And it's not just about starting strong, but kind of moving through that and sustaining momentum. So we are going to talk about how to engage new people and how to re-engage or keep those that are have been doing stronger memory for a while, how to keep them engaged. And then you all, as facilitators, are the key motivators. Your confidence, your enthusiasm, those are all contagious. And that's a bug we want people to catch. So, talking through some strategies on how we can do that. Some of the common challenges, I think what we see the most in the groups that we lead is there can be kind of a drop off after initial excitement. The other challenge is sometimes competing priorities and a lack of resources or time. Our groups that we run, most of our individuals are retired, And yet, if anyone, if you know anyone who's retired, being retired doesn't mean you have free time. Time gets filled with a lot of meaningful things. So those are some of the biggest challenges we see. I'm curious if anyone else wants to share. Is there kind of another challenge to engagement that you see in your groups?
I was going to say that drop off after initial excitement. Yet, I wish there was a way that people could see where they've gotten to and what happens when they stop. It's like they some people will stop and then they'll come back to it and they'll be surprised. I take a program called Fall Stop Move Strong. And I know I've learned that if I miss some time of it, the first time I go back to it, there's a real difference. And in maybe the second week or the third week, I realize that I'm back where I was. And that for me has always been the question about this because, once people stop and they don't know what they're losing, it's not a challenge to come back to it. Am I making myself clear?
Yeah, I see Michelle nodding too. Yeah. Um, kind of
It's
that like, oh, go ahead.
it's kind of like exercise. If you stop
Yeah,
exercising after a certain point and then you try to go back to it, because I'm going through
and
that
it's
now.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard. So, yeah, I
Yeah, I agree. It's like that you try it and then it's almost like, oh, well, do I keep going? Do I come back to it? Is it worth it? And exercise is the same way for a lot of us. And yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think, and depending on the way you structure your group, having something that is meaningful and able to be, um, something you're able to join or rejoin, that can sometimes be beneficial. Or if you have kind of like a closed group, I know we've done like graduations and then invited people back. Hey, we're gonna start over, and sometimes that can get over some of that. But
I
yeah.
I remember one person told me they had stopped for the summer and that when they went back, it was so hard to get back into it. And that's that
Mm,
same kind of thing.
yeah.
They've done it, they know what it involves, and they stop for whatever reason. And how do you realize you need to get back?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. That's a really good point. And we'll share, we have some ideas that we're gonna start rolling out to help with momentum, but yeah, maybe there's some other resources too. Any other challenges that we haven't talked about?
One challenge that's not a huge one, but I think I've had some people enroll, think think a little bit further along on their cognitive decline and thinking that these exercises will do more than
Yeah.
than they will, and kind of a sense of disappointment and that they see that they're like, oh, everyone's looking for that cure all, and
Right.
the routine, the consistency. I try to say this can help, but at the same time, like you were saying, it's an everyday practice. It's not a quick fix if it's going to
Yeah.
be lasting. And for some people, they need more than what this class is offering. um,
Yeah.
and so that can be a little challenging for them to not get disheartened, to think that there's still a benefit for them in taking the class, even though maybe it doesn't fix everything.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. We see that too. Absolutely. Kind of that wanting a quick fix and then understanding, oh, this isn't gonna be a quick fix or a miracle. It's gonna take some time. Well, we'll talk through with those challenges in mind some strategies first to engage new participants, and then we'll go through some strategies to engage existing participants. Some strategies to engage new participants. Start with curiosity. Use some icebreaker questions to start the group so that people can kind of start getting to know each other. And then ask what brain health means to them. So, starting with that kind of in the beginning can be helpful because, like you said, Annie, if someone's like, well, brain health means I don't have dementia anymore, so I want something that's going to fix that, we can really set expectations early, but we can also work with them to see what is going to be that right resource for them. We are going to be sharing when we email out this the recording for this monthly talk. We're going to be sharing the first round of our new drafts of the updated lessons and facilitator guide. So these are not going to be downloadable on the website yet. We'll share it as a Google Drive link. And if you can't access the Google Drive, email back and Michelle or Taylor will send you the documents as an attachment. These are going to be tweaked a little bit before they go on the website, but we want to share the drafts with you so that if you want to utilize them, you can start doing that. And we'd also love any of your feedback on them. So that will come out. I think we'll have at least the first kind of 4 lessons out of 14, if not the first 6, kind of ready to go. And so those each have some icebreakers you can use before each lesson to start conversation. Connect to existing habits and goals. I guess this one can really go with new participants and re-engaging others, especially people who, like we were talking about, have maybe started and then stopped doing stronger memory. But look at what is it you're already doing. I get up in the morning and I have my coffee and my breakfast, and usually I listen to an audiobook, but I could, take some time and read aloud during part of that time. Is there something you're already doing where you can fit in one of the 3 exercises? If you always do physical exercise, maybe add 10 minutes to the start or end of that and do the math, kind of habit stack or try to fit things into your current routines. And then make it social. Encourage group sharing and get to know you activities. What we've found in our research with George Mason University about stronger memory is that people really stick with it. They start, excuse me, because they have a issue with their own brain health, they're concerned about their own brain health, but they really stick with it because of that social component. And then for new participants, explaining the science, kind of helping them understand why these exercises are helpful and what they do in the brain. Not super in-depth, not a college level class, but just helping to kind of explain what the math is doing, why we're doing simple math, why we're reading aloud, not silently. That can be something really helpful. So we've reorganized those new lessons. I know you all have heard me talk about them a lot. It's been a really long project, but we've reorganized those to include things. The first few lessons are on each of the different stronger memory exercises, and then we go into just one big lesson on motivation, and eventually into some other brain health activities you can do. But that can be a good way to engage new participants so they understand why we're asking them to do these habits. Some additional strategies to re-engage existing participants. Celebrate progress. So certificates, we've done some groups where we ran, a 12-week group and then given everyone a graduation certificate at the end. Mini milestones can be a great source as well, and habit trackers. So being able to track habits. Taylor actually designed a sticker we're going to pilot with some small notebooks for participants in our next group where they can actually check off, did you do your reading? Did you do your writing and your math each day? That can make it fun and a new way to build that habit. Refresh activities. So some things will be, I know some of you do this already. Susan, you are always looking up brain health articles and sending them to your group and to us. We love those. In the new facilitator guide, we'll be sending out some of those lessons. There's a lesson, and then there's kind of like a facilitator resource that goes with the article to read aloud with the group. And in those, we have some supplemental creative ideas if you want to do something hands-on. So that's some extra articles that relate to that topic that you can use. And then some monthly themed packets. So I'm super excited. Taylor already has done one for February that we're just finalizing the format, and it will come out. We'll send it out that last week in January, but it has a writing prompt for each day of February around many of the kind of themes and motifs of winter, but also February celebrations and like Black History Month and things like that. So there's some really neat writing prompts, and then Taylor, she's got a master's in communication and a bachelor's in English. So she actually wrote or compiled 10 minutes of reading aloud that is really focused on February. So just that winter, there's some really great poems. Some of them are really peaceful, some are funny, but some really great stuff. And that's going to be coming out monthly from us. So you'll be able to share it with your participants. We also are working on, making sure people who want it, who are maybe already getting emails from us, are able to get it directly from us via email. So um, we can also make sure you've got info to sign them up if you don't want to send it to them directly. But that's kind of a fun resource we have coming out. And you can use those resources or on your own, try something new and offer flexibility. So sharing alternative ways to write or to do the math. I know we've talked about this before in a previous topic, how to adapt the exercises for different abilities or different physical challenges. So just making sure we are still doing that. You can get a lot of adaptive tools for writing. We've had some groups, some individuals even wonder if, drawing or kind of tracing out, if you can't hold a pen and write, but tracing and writing letters in the air, that can be a good way to kind of work the same parts of the brain. And then with the math, we are going to keep putting out some new videos of auditory math so you can listen to it. Those will be on our YouTube. We have, I think, two now, where we read out the math problems and you can listen to that as a video or a YouTube podcast. So just encouraging some alternative ways to do those exercises. And then social connection. Like I said, our research with George Mason and what we continue to hear from participants is that they really enjoy coming to the program and sticking with it because of the social ties that they make. So some ways you can really lean into that to engage or re-engage someone. You can highlight certain participants, or if you typically meet for Stronger Memory in person, you could schedule like a fun in-person social event where, hey, we've been going for 6 months, or we've done our 12 weeks and we're getting ready to end, or we've been going on for even longer than that. Let's celebrate and everybody bring a snack to share, or just we're gonna have some fun and socialize. Some ways that we have highlighted individuals in the groups, we have done specifically for our virtual groups, if there it has been like around Veterans Day, we'll kind of take a break from regularly scheduled brain health programming and talk about something related to veterans. And Michelle and Teresa have done a great job of reaching out to the participants in that group who are veterans, getting their pictures, getting their information. We had one participant who he had written books on Navy happenings and published books on his time in the Navy. And so the group, many had known him for I think 2 or 3 years at that point, but didn't know he read those books. And so we were able to highlight his books and give him the platform to speak. And sometimes, even though those topics might be less directly related to brain health, it can be good to sprinkle those in where you're really letting someone share about their hobby. We had another gentleman virtually tell us all about his model trains and how he makes them, how he measures to make sure they're to scale. And then he sent us a video to share where he was showing off his whole setup he had. Which was a beautifully painted, model train village. So even though you might not find a published article on model trains and brain health, or Navy history and brain health, when we do take that time to really lean into the social connection, and give people that chance to share their interests and to learn about each other, it ends up really engaging the group and helping them sustain um, their connection to stronger memory, to this health habit. I have some discussion questions we can think about, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a moment, and then we can just kind of have discussion. But did I see, Susan, do you have your hand up first?
Yes,
Yes.
I do. Okay. I just wanted to say I was on a plane last night. That's why I have the California background.
I love
And
it.
I was sitting on the aisle, and on the opposite aisle, next to the window, was this young woman. And she didn't have a computer. She had a loose leaf binder and paper. And I watched how much more intent she was on what she was doing than when you're just typing and you can change it.
Yeah.
And I saw she would go back to pages and then she'd write something in the margin or she'd cross something out. But her focus on writing was so fascinating to me because I haven't seen any person writing like that in a really long time. So I thought
Yeah.
that was very encouraging about the value of cursive. And the other thing I wanted to mention is one of the things that I've done with my groups is to teach them the manual alphabet, which is also very good for hand exercise, hand movements, and things like that. And I really initially started using it for the idea that to learn something new takes a lot of effort, and everybody thinks, well, the alphabet, how hard could it be? And then I ask them to finger spell their names and things like that. And I've found that that has been very effective, and they enjoy it. And everybody wants to know maybe a little sign here, a little sign there, or, they get more interested in it. And it also is so many different movements for your hand. So it's good for
Yes.
arthritis, it's good for the brain. So I just wanted to mention those two things.
Yes, absolutely. Those are great. And I'm trying to stop sharing. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Trying to stop sharing my screen so we can all see each other. Um, but does anyone else have any let's stop recording.
How about the names of the people in your picture? I know the man was at one meeting.
Yes. So the man is Kevin. So this is Kevin. He's our new brain health coordinator. So he's leading a lot of our groups on campus. This is Teresa, who many of you know. She's our outreach coordinator. She just shifted this month to part-time. So you'll see her still on most of our monthly calls. She's working most Wednesdays, but she's only working 2 days a week. That's me in the middle. Next to me this is Sam. Sam is our day program manager. So we now have a social model day program we're running out of one of our campuses that's open to the public. And then on the end there is Taylor, and Taylor is our new brain health. Nope, she's our new Stronger Memory outreach coordinator. We all have really long titles. But she is going to be taking over a lot of what Teresa was doing on a day-to-day basis and kind of learning from there. So she
Thanks.
is,
Thanks.
I think, Taylor, is this your fourth or fifth week with
And
us?
Kevin's here now.
And Kevin's here now. Yes. Poor Kevin. He's been running from one campus to the other today.
Honestly, I'm not sure if it's been 4 or 5 weeks. It's been start and stop because of the holidays, I feel like. So it's hard to
Yeah.
tell.
I was just to echo, hi, this is Kevin. To echo what Susan said, I own um, a two desktop computers, a Mac, a Windows computer, and um, but despite that, I've spent over the last 2.5 years $1,000 on devices that all they do is write by hand. And they're just tablets like one that I use now is called Remarkable. And I've lost most of my cursive ability, but even printing, even if someone is printing, I think there's so much gained um, by a lot of times if there's a book that I think is going to be valuable to share, I'll sit down with that instead of a piece of paper. I have this remarkable device. It's just a digital version of it. There are no notifications coming up. There's no interruptions. It doesn't sync with my phone or my computer. It doesn't have a blue screen. It's more just like paper. But it can light up at night, but not with a blue screen. Just looks like a lit up piece of paper. And I just echo what Susan said. There's so much value in writing by hand. And I'm 53 now. And I started doing that probably about 8 to 10 years ago using digital devices to write. And I think it's been life changing for me.
Very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, that is inspiring to hear that those handwriting stories.
And most people in when they do stronger memory do also say that their handwriting gets better. Of course, practice.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Well, we can discuss if anybody has any general questions or general thoughts. One of the questions I had was, is there anything that's worked best for you in engaging participants?
Um, for me, with mine, we only have our groups for 10 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I find having them kind of have an assignment when they come to class. So we, on the first day, I usually say everybody's gonna have a chance to be a conversation starter, and I kind of frame it that way so there's not the pressure or the expectation that they have to carry the conversation, but they just start it. And often I'll refer them to the book and say, just look at one of those writing prompt questions and share what you would have said with that. But it's not just, hey, who wants to share? I'll say, Sam, you're going to share next week, and so is going to share. And so they know they can plan ahead of time. And I think in the end, I think that's really what melds the group together is they're sharing personal experiences. Um, and usually I have the outgoing ones, they'll be the first to volunteer, but then after 3-4 weeks, the groups are small enough. Usually I have about 10 to 15 people that
Great, great number. Yeah.
everybody everybody starts wanting to share, and it's been good to see.
That's really great. I love that too. Giving them, I love calling it a conversation starter so they don't feel like they have to present or drive the conversation. But um, yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I'm curious, Annie, do you do when we've started doing, we've done 10 weeks and then we bumped it up to 12 weeks so we could do a pre and post assessment. I'm making I'm having Taylor and Kevin start. We have 14 new lessons in the updated facilitators guide, and they're designed so that there's kind of 7 to 8 core lessons and a closing lesson, if you want to use that, but you don't have to do each of the um we have a lesson on each of the pillars of brain health, and you don't have to do all of them. If your group, only meets for 10 weeks, then you would do kind of the core 8 and pick 2 extra lessons to do a deep dive on, for example, exercise and brain health and um stress reduction and brain health based on what appeals to your group. But Kevin and Taylor are going to do all 14 together with our internal participants because they're both new, and I want their feedback on the lessons and their learnings. Um, but where was I go? Oh, so because we're doing the closed group model, we've started doing kind of like a graduation at week 10 or 12, or in this case, it'll be week 14 or 16. Where we do a celebration. I'm curious, Annie, do you do something like that to celebrate at the end? Have you seen and if so, have you seen that really engages people, or um, what do you do when the group closes?
We have utilized your graduation certificate,
Oh,
and
great.
it's kind of a wrap up day that we use to the conversation starter that day is usually what has your experience been?
Mm,
And we kind of go around and we share. The sessions themselves are about 30 to 45 minutes long. So every time I
wow.
give your little mini lesson, I try to keep my portion down to 10 minutes max.
Hmm.
And then we have the conversation starter so that they have probably 20 to 30 minutes of social engagement. But I really piqued my interest with the habit tracker because I was thinking
Yes.
that that would be a fun way to just, I mean, we're a county department. We don't have a lot of swag to give out, but like to give a pen if they've been
Yeah.
writing for so long, or I don't know, something that goes along with those things, but just as a little, uh,
Yeah.
they don't have
Oriental
to.
Trading Company if they're not out
Yes,
of business or with
That's
tariffs.
true. Yes.
yeah. And most of them are not so invested in the gift itself, but just the fact that it's just that little bit of motivator to say, oh, I want to get a Salt Lake
Yeah.
County pin, so
Yeah.
I was thinking they don't have to be consistent, but maybe if they can show a full 2 weeks, as soon whenever they get that in the course, if they can get 2 consecutive weeks
Yes.
of doing all three, then they get a pin, or I don't know,
Yeah,
something like that.
absolutely. And well, I will say, and we can figure out how to share the sticker design. It's in Canva. I will say we're being pretty economical with it. Taylor and Kevin were kind of brainstorming around it. It was their idea, and then Taylor designed it in Canva, and Sam, our day program manager, she is super crafty and she said, "Oh, if you just buy a pack of like full size sticker paper, then you can print it on you can print as many as you want on the full size sticker paper and cut them out so that it's a lot cheaper than like ordering the stickers to be professionally printed, which we've done for some of our other brain health events, but that can add up. So yeah, we can definitely share that. Um, if it's kind of a cheap way to habit track. Yeah.
Then the other thing I was thinking, even I fully intend to utilize all of your lesson plans, because secretly I would love to be able to offer this as a continual class, but we're just
Yeah.
not set up to do that. But I can
Right.
also say, take the class again. The lessons are different, so it's not like a
Yeah.
repeat of the same curriculum. If they sign
Right.
up for another 10 weeks, I can mix things up. Hopefully there'll be enough at some point where I
Yeah.
could do two completely different lesson materials based off of which one they sign up for. And I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it'll continue motivating them to keep
Absolutely.
going.
Yeah, and that's kind of our goal, and especially for groups like yours where kind of it is there are some we have some facilitators who aren't as experienced in running groups, and so they really want all the details laid out for them. But for I think everybody on this call, you all do facilitate a lot of groups, and so you're very comfortable with it being that social discussion for a big chunk of the group. And so our goal is, and would love your feedback on it, because the goal is we have the lesson that is kind of like the article that's written, but then in the kind of facilitator guide section, we've got additional short news articles. You could print and read one of those aloud. We have some short videos that relate to that topic. So, and then we've got like some creative ideas, creative engagement. So some hands-on experience that, and like a hands-on activity you could do. For example, I think one of them is like a brain wall, making a using post-its and writing out what your goals are. What would you like to see with your brain health? Why did you join Stronger Memory? Like, I think there's enough there if you wanted to take just a piece of that. Maybe it's okay, we're gonna do another 10-week session that's actually instead of reading the lesson we did last time we did a 10-week session, we're going to watch these short videos and use extra discussion questions. So there might be a little bit more kind of piecing together what you want to do for the different lesson, but that's the goal, is that you've got a lot of resources to take it and continue with it. And then yeah, we're also looking at with some of the more obscure topics for the continuous groups that we've done, how can we share those in a way that's really most beneficial? So Taylor is going to eventually be looking at, how can we make some of those maybe YouTube videos that are short that you could share in a group and then have discussion questions go along with them. And we have just started putting together a ask to have a more formal facilitators portal through the Stronger Memory website so that we can share some of the tools that are kind of too big for us to share via email, haven't really worked. We do have some of that on the Google Drive, but I know not everyone can access a Google Drive. So we're looking at how can we make a facilitators portal where we can upload things, but also facilitators can log on. And if you all have a resource that you've made that you really like, you can upload it and share with the other facilitators. So that we're just getting kind of bids for that from our website people to see what that looks like. But that'll be coming in the future as well. So exciting stuff as our team grows. Susan, I see you talking, but you're still on mute.
All right. Another thing that I think would be useful would be having some slides, because I just really taught an arthritis class and I
Yeah.
had the slides, but of course I have a talented daughter who helped me make them better looking than they actually were in the first thing. And I used them with the class, and I found people like were writing down what was on where they might not write down what I was saying. They were copying what was on the slides. So that is another area maybe to investigate that went like because I do mine on Zoom, it would be, much nicer to have some slides rather than just me talking, a variation, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we are, Sam and Kevin are working on slides for their, not Sam and Kevin, sorry, Taylor and Kevin are working on slides for their stronger memory lessons. So we can definitely start sending those out. The goal is once we have a facilitator portal that we could have those up there as well. And for the slides, the idea, and maybe some of the other materials too, the idea and goal is that you can download the the PowerPoint directly to your computer, and then if you want to make changes to the slides for your specific group, you can do that. So if there's anything that's really like, no, this is very specific kind of core stronger memory content, we're gonna, we don't want this to change, that'll be uploaded as a PDF. But I know we've found when we've shared slides with people in the past, like it is nice, your audience best. It's nice to be able to change and tweak the slides a little bit, um, so that you can, add in your contact info, or you can take out stuff that you've maybe already talked about, and things like that. So that will be coming in the future as well. So that's great feedback. Good to know. Anything else? We've got about 12 minutes left in our time for this month. Is there anything else people want to share or talk about?
I have a question.
Yes.
This may not be within the stronger memory purview.
It's okay.
I'm kind of limited on getting these programs out because I have found that it takes someone who has a little bit of a facilitator skill set to present this information. We
Okay.
we utilize volunteers in other areas, but I'm finding for stronger memory, there is definitely an art to getting people to talk, to kind of seeing if there's a dominant speaker, you know, kindly tamping them down. How do you draw out people who tend to be more reflective processors who aren't going to speak up generally? Do you have any resources? I mean, I'm trying to do that a little bit on my end to show people how to navigate this because I would love to get more volunteers to be facilitators,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a scary thing because there's not a written script. It's kind of an
Right.
intuitive sense of guiding a discussion, not lecturing the whole time. And
Yeah.
wondering if you guys have any resources on that.
Yeah, I have a few things. Number one, I think we've gotten a lot of that feedback. So the new the new facilitator's guide, and we'll send out at least the first four lessons with the recording of this call, but which will come out I think by Monday probably. Or yeah, Michelle's nodding. Okay, great. She's the person who manages all of that, so I don't want to give a date she can't do. But she manages posting the recording, that is. And so we do have a little bit more of an optional script that really talks through in more detail what to do and when. I think and I have a lot of resources I've used over the years on like training people to be support group facilitators. And even though this isn't a support group, I think it's a lot of those same skills. And Kevin's background is in education and a little bit of like how do we learn? His research was very STEM specific, but a little bit of that. How do we learn? How do we teach? And then Taylor and her communication skills. I think that's something we could easily. We're looking at creating some more robust training videos for facilitators. And I think that's something we can definitely, I'm thinking already of some resources I could send from other organizations. But I think we could probably come up with a specific kind of new facilitator resource training. And I think the best way to do that sometimes is by video, because then you can really show what's happening. We can record and show examples. Um, and that might be the way to go there.
Be great. Thank you. Because I know I just kind of learned through the years of my doing this, but I
Right.
get someone who really loves it and they say, I would love to be a facilitator,
Yeah.
but they get overwhelmed in they either know how to lecture the whole time or they just sit and let the
Right.
group do what they need to do. And there's that middle ground of guiding a
Yeah.
discussion versus teaching. But
Yeah. Absolutely. And we'll play around too. We're looking to try and automate parts of the facilitator training. So many of you might remember when you first started Stronger Memory, you probably came on a Zoom with myself and Teresa, maybe Michelle too, or one of us. And we still want to do that, but we want to be a little bit more specific with the support that we provide, that kind of in-person support. So what we're working on is coming up with videos that can be kind of self-paced training videos to get that basic background. And then you can schedule time with us. Taylor will probably take the lead with then Teresa on the days she is working, being a second person you can schedule with to really dive into some of those deeper questions. Okay, I watched the video on what this is and what the toolbook is, the guidebook is. Now I need to know, like, how do I apply this to my specific setting? So that we can train people a little bit more quickly, but also really get to the heart of those specific needs. And so I think for what you're talking about, Annie, it could be easy to set something up where, if you have a few facilitators, maybe we can have them watch some of the basic training so they feel more comfortable with the basics, but then also hop on a call um, with Taylor and Teresa and kind of get to workshop some of it. Maybe even do some modeling, role playing, all of that good good stuff that we don't like to do, but that really helps that message sink in.
be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's great. Anything else? Anything else anyone wants to to share? Well, thank you all. This has been a great discussion. We always dip a little bit in terms of participation over the winter holiday months. So hopefully we'll have a larger group again in February. We're going to keep building out the different ways that you all can connect. So we'll keep you posted there, and we'll send out those drafts of the new facilitator guide lessons. And please give us any feedback, good or bad. We'd love to hear it.
Have you found a way for me to download to my Apple Calendar, since that's what I use? We mentioned that last time, and you were going to see if somebody could come up with a way so I can have the
Yeah.
dates and the things in my Apple Calendar.
I think in Zoom, when you register, there might be a way to download it to Apple Calendar. I we'll follow up, Susan,
I
and send.
had it before, so I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
happened in between, whether you had it before or I don't know what happened, because I
Okay.
used to have it and it was so convenient because I just go to that date, press the link, and
Yeah.
I'd be in the meeting. So,
Maybe we can figure out Taylor and Michelle can maybe help. Can you let's send Susan an email. Either figure out a way we could send her the invite, um, or send her like some screenshots of how to get it on her Apple Calendar.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Anything else?
No?
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Happy New Year. Have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week.
Bye.